Hello, channel members here on YouTube. Welcome to a new exclusive video for all of you. As you know, we have two membership levels here on my channel. There's the regular PABT community members and the pro members, each one with its own perks where you're going to get special content and things not available to the general public here on the channel, like member shoutouts, member only chats on live streams, early access to videos, full access to the old live trading video recordings. And for the pro members, you're also going to be getting a couple of exclusive special pre-recorded videos or live streams a month. Now, since this is the first video I'm making, I wanted to just make it special, and I'm including all the membership levels into this level. But in the future, if you want to keep getting access to exclusive videos and live streams a couple of times a month, that is going to be for the pro members on the channel. Okay, so for this video, I was trying to think what would be a good topic of something to do for all you. And I thought, how about I just guide you through the process of how I start to analyze a fresh chart, okay? I've made videos in my channel about top-down analysis, so it's going to be related to that, but I'm just going to guide you through the steps that I follow when I'm starting a fresh analysis, whether that is if I'm looking at a new market that I normally don't trade, or sometimes, I think it's good sometimes to start with a fresh chart. So I'll just clear everything on like my SP 500 and NASDAQ charts, and I'll just start a completely fresh analysis. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go, this is actually the YM futures market. So this is the Dow Jones futures. So we're going to be looking at the continuous contract. This is under the CBOT from the CME. And I'm going to go through the steps of how I mark my levels and I apply my volume profile and everything. And it's pretty much the charts that you see that I share on my channel. This is pretty much the process that I normally would go through. And this is what I use to form my trade ideas. So let's start off on a weekly time frame first of all. Normally in the weekly time frame, I don't really mark that much. I used to mark levels on the weekly, but for me the daily is the most valuable high time frame level. So I usually will go down into the into the daily. Right off the bat, we can see right over here that we're, looking like we're doing a little bull flag, and it looks like it might be poised to break up to the upside. So we could be targeting new all-time highs on this chart here, right around 45,600. But let's start off first applying my levels. I like to use a gold color for my daily levels and a gray color for my hourly levels. So literally the way I start is just visually looking at support resistance. So I'm trying to see, okay, what areas do I have several factors that I'm talking about? One, the size of the movements off of the levels. Two, how recent the touches have been. Three, are we confirming the level by having reactions both from the top and the bottom side of it? And so those are the main factors. I want to see a lot of reactions. I want to see big reactions that price pulls away significantly from it. And I'm going to pay close attention to the most recent areas on the chart as well. So if I look here, I see a cluster of highs in this area, and then I saw we had some support here and some resistance here. So I'm just gonna line this up. Pretty much that looks like a good level, and I have a template here, daily, so you can see. So that will be my first daily level that I would apply. You can see we almost touched it here, but then we had support and very strong resistance recently. So that's definitely a good level. Next, let's just keep moving. Now, all-time high, you can see we had about 5 candles hitting right around the same area. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a level right around here, 45,646. This is pretty much where all the clusters of highs were. So moving down below, I'm looking for the same thing, and I can already just visually see resistance here, resistance, support, support on this area. So this was a big area where we had a flip between support and resistance with very significant reactions. So I'm going to take probably there. You know, I could, if I move this up to this low here, then I don't have a touch back over here. So, you know, it's a small difference, but I think it's important to put it hinge from these levels. You can see we still got 2 very significant tests and reactions from this, even though we just missed it on this last one. Okay, and let's just do one more. I generally, you know, if price is over here, I'm not really going to worry about things down here because we're too far away. This is the daily chart. It could take months and months if we even get down to these areas. So I don't want to get too far from where price is. So let's just put one more. Probably right here would be another nice area. You can see we had resistance, resistance, some more resistance, and then we broke above and we used this level to propulse and then push up. Okay, so those are my 4 daily levels that I'm going to be using. Now, let's go into a 4-hour chart and do the same thing for the hourly levels now. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. And again, you know, I'm not going to worry too much about things down below here. So let's see hourly levels, pretty much the same process, but now we have more detail on the chart. Immediately, my eyes are set on around this area. You can see right here, we had a lot of upwards and downwards tests right around this area. So let's try to see what's the best fitting level that we can have there. I get my template, my gray level. Probably that's like a good area right there. You can see some levels are barely missing it, but we're still capturing pretty much, you know, we have this high, this retests here, we almost tested here, support here, and then we're almost testing it here. So this is a good average for this level. You know, you can even, you know, even come down into here. This is still pretty accurate as well. So, you know, you can use either one. You know, we can leave it here. This one looks a little bit more accurate. Now, let's go down into the bottom and do the same thing. I start looking. These levels, if I see that price just starts coming and trading through it a lot like this, I'm just going to erase it. But if I just have very precise touches and price just quickly goes through it and then we continue testing it, I'm still going to count it. So then below this, let's see, we have the dailies here, we have the hourly. So if we go down here, this is another good area. Probably right there. You can see from this level here, we're capturing these lows here, these resistances, and then we broke and we used it as support again. Okay? So, I mean, I think that's, you know, a pretty good overall area. And then let's go into the hourly and see if maybe there's one more. I don't want to like go crazy and just, you know, I don't want to go in and be like, oh, there's a swing high here, I'm going to put a level. Because, you know, if you try to fit lines in, you can put like one line after the other and it's just going to be too crumpled up. I just want to put the most significant. I definitely think these lows are significant right here. Probably right around this area. Probably right around there. That's a pretty good level. And you can see here we had resistance, resistance, support, support, support. So I think that's it. So we have our daily levels, which if we go into the daily chart, you can see I only see the daily levels on here. So these lines, I have them set to show from the daily down to the minutes. But then the hourly levels, I have it showing from the hourly to the minutes. I don't want to put this on the daily because if I zoom out, I'm just going to get a bunch of lines that don't really make sense on the higher time frame. And I want to keep my charts as clean as possible. Okay, so that's it for the visual levels. Now, let's apply my long-term volume profile. So my long-term volume profile, like I said before, you know, if price is right here, I'm not going to worry about any of this at the moment. If we break down and we're right around these lows, then I'm going to take this into account because I want to see the profile here for this area. But until we break below this daily level, my main area of focus is going to be just this, like the most recent rotations that have confluence where price is. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to take my anchored volume profile tool and I'm going to put it, let's put it right here. So I'm anchoring it pretty much from this level forward. Okay, so that's what this profile is covering. This profile, I have it as number of rows, 2,000, total volumes, 68% value area. You can mark off the value area high-low point of control if you want, but generally for my longer term levels, all I care about is to look at the high volume nodes and low volume nodes. Because intraday, I will be looking at the value areas point of control for my sessions, but for the longer term, I don't generally use that. So now let's go down into the hourly, zoom out so the profile comes on. And now the last step that I like to do is I want to identify high volume node areas. And by that also low volume node areas. So you can see we have a node here, we have a node here, we have one that's not that nicely shaped here, etc. You know, high volume nodes are basically where we have the profile sticking out more, and that's areas that we've built and accumulated volume. So you're going to see a lot of back and forth in price to build up these volumes. Low volume node areas, as you can see, is where the volume's cut off. And you're going to notice our hourly and daily levels are going to coincide a lot with low volume node zones, because this is the areas where price is going to usually reject. Okay, like here you can see it's not really in the low volume node area, but we do have a lot of reactions from there recently as well. This one is very nicely fit here, this one very nice, etc. And so my last step is I just like to highlight my low volume node zones. For that, I use a rectangle tool. And again, I don't really worry about going too far away from price. I want to go close to where we are. So here, this is a support zone for me, because price broke out of this node into the top one, and you can see we broke out of this resistance. So now I will be looking at possibly, something like this, a pullback, and look to hold into this broken resistance, flip this again to support, and then we look, for this swing high, and then for this highs over here, for example. Okay, so my low volume node zones are just a guideline for me. In this case, I would put a red zone here, right there, and then, this is, it's kind of small, but this is a little support area. Anything below price, I like to put in green. Anything above, I like to put in red. If price would fall below this, then I would flip this red, because now I look at this as a resistance zone. And then let's just put one last one right at this big cuts that we have down here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is the roadmap of how I would analyze a new market and how I would get ready to day trade. So now if I go into like a 5-minute chart, you can see I have my session volume profiles, extended hours in the gray blue, regular hours just in the gray orange, and then I have all my zones from my higher time frame levels all marked off. And this is what I use as a guide for entries, for profit targets, along obviously with price action patterns, order flow tools like footprint, etc. And this is all things that I cover in my trading courses. And I also have videos on the education playlist on YouTube as well. Okay? But this is just a little video for all of you channel members, showing you the process of how I make a complete new top-down analysis in the markets. So I hope you have enjoyed it, you find it useful. Thank you for being a member here on the YouTube channel and for your support. And remember, basic channel members, you're getting a bunch of perks, and channel pro members, which is the second tier, you are getting the same perks as the basic members, and you're also going to be getting a couple of exclusive videos and live streams like this ones every month as well. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to leave you all. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.